Hello everyone and welcome to the lecture on AWS Directory Service. So this lecture will contain all these topics. What is AWS Directory Service? Types of Directory Service options, AWS Managed Microsoft AD, AD Connector, Simple AD, and followed by the use cases which are solved by AWS Directory Service. So what is AWS Directory Service? AWS Directory Service provides multiple ways to use Microsoft Active Directory with other AWS services. Directories store information about users, groups, and devices. Administrators use directories to manage access to information and resources. AWS Directory Service provides multiple directory choices for customers who want to use existing Microsoft AD or lightweight directory access protocol LDAP aware applications in the cloud. It also offers those same choices to developers who need a directory to manage users, groups, devices, and access. So types of directory options. First one, AWS Managed Microsoft AD. It comes with Standard or Enterprise Edition, both the edition. AWS Directory Service for Microsoft Active Directory Standard or Enterprise Edition provides a fully managed Microsoft Active Directory in the AWS cloud. It supports Active Directory aware workloads and AWS applications and services such as Amazon Workspaces and Amazon QuickSight. It also offers LDAP support for Linux applications, enabling seamless integration. Next type of directory option is AD Connector. AD Connector allows on-premises users to log into AWS applications and services using their existing Active Directory credentials. It eliminates the need for separate user management for AWS resources. AD Connector can also be used to join Amazon EC2 instances to your existing on-premises Active Directory domain, extending your directory's reach to the cloud. And third one, Simple AD. Simple AD is a low-scale, low-cost directory option with basic Active Directory compatibility. It supports Samba 4 compatible applications, making it suitable for smaller scale deployments. Simple AD also provides LDAP compatibility for LDAP aware applications, enabling integration with wide range of tools and services. It is an affordable solution for organizations with simple directory requirements. So AWS Managed Microsoft AD. So let's see the first one. There are three options. We'll see each one of them one by one. So let's see all the features which are offered by Microsoft AD, which is AWS Managed Microsoft AD. So AWS Managed Microsoft AD is built on an actual Microsoft Windows Server Active Directory managed by AWS in the cloud. It allows you to migrate a wide range of Active Directory aware applications to the AWS cloud. AWS Managed Microsoft AD works with Microsoft SharePoint, Microsoft SQL Server, always on availability groups, and many .NET applications. It supports AWS managed applications and services like Amazon Workspaces, WorkDocs, QuickSight, Amazon Chime, Amazon Connect, and RDS for SQL Server, RDS for Oracle, and RDS for PostgreSQL. When enabled, AWS Managed Microsoft AD is approved for applications subject to HIPAA or PCI DSS compliance in the AWS cloud. It is compatible applications work with user credentials stored in AWS Managed Microsoft AD, or you can connect to your existing AD infrastructure with a trust and use on-premises or EC2 Windows AD credentials. Okay, seventh point. Joining EC2 instances to your AWS Managed Microsoft AD allows users to access Windows workloads in the AWS cloud with the same SSO experience as on-premises. AWS Managed Microsoft AD supports federated use cases. Alone, it enables AWS Management Console sign-in with AWS IAM Identity Center, also formerly known as AWS SSO. So with AWS IAM Identity Center, you can obtain short-term credentials for AWS SDK and CLI and use SAML integrations for cloud app sign-in. Adding Microsoft Entra Connect and optionally ADFS enables Office 365 and other cloud app sign-in. The service includes feature to extend your schema, manage password policies, enable secure LDAP via SSL, TLS, and enable MFA for added security when accessing AWS apps from the internet. So we'll see the 8.ADFS for Office 365 and other apps in the later use cases. So I'll be covering that in the next few slides. Okay, moving on. 10th feature, as an LDAP directory, AWS Managed Microsoft AD can be used for Linux SSH authentication and other LDAP enabled applications. AWS provides monitoring, daily snapshots, and recovery. You add users and groups to AWS Managed Microsoft AD and manage group policy using familiar AD tools on a Windows computer joined to the domain. You can scale the directory by deploying additional domain controllers and improve application performance by distributing requests across more domain controllers. So this is all about AWS Managed Microsoft AD, which was the first option. And let's see the second option now, which is AD connector, and this is used to connect AWS to your on-premises AD infrastructure. So AD connector is a proxy service that provides an easy way to connect compatible AWS applications such as Amazon Workspaces, Amazon QuickSight, and Amazon EC2 for Windows Server instances to your existing on-premises Microsoft AD. With AD connector, you can simply add one service account to your Active Directory. AD connector eliminates the need for directory synchronization or the cost and complexity of hosting a federation infrastructure. When you add users to AWS applications such as Amazon QuickSight, AD connector reads your existing Active Directory to create list of users and groups to select from. When users log into the AWS applications, AD connector forwards sign-in requests to your on-premises Active Directory domain controllers for authentication. AD connector works with many AWS applications and services including Amazon Workspaces, Amazon WorkTalks, Amazon QuickSight, Amazon Chime, Amazon Connect, and Amazon Workmail. You can join your EC2 Windows instances to your on-premises Active Directory domain through AD connector using seamless domain join. AD connector also allows your users to access the AWS Management Console and manage AWS resources by logging in with their existing Active Directory credentials. AD connector is not compatible with RDS SQL Server, so this is one incompatibility. You can also use AD connector to enable multi-factor authentication (MFA) for your AWS application users by connecting it to your existing Radius-based MFA infrastructure. And this provides an additional layer of security when users access AWS applications. So this was all about AD connector. This was the second option. So you just have your on-premises AD and you use proxy service in AWS, which is be connecting to your on-prem AD. And last is the Simple AD, which is the Active Directory compatible directory service. The Simple AD is a Microsoft Active Directory compatible directory from AWS Directory Service that is powered by Samba 4. So Samba 4 is another technology, but it's very similar to Active Directory, but it's not Active Directory, and it is compatible, but it's compatible with AD, Microsoft AD. Simple AD supports basic Active Directory features such as user accounts and group memberships. It allows joining a Linux domain or Windows-based EC2 instances. Simple AD provides Kerberos-based single sign-on, SSO, and group policies. AWS provides monitoring, daily snapshots, and recovery as part of the Simple AD service. Simple AD is a standalone directory in the cloud where you create and manage user identities and manage access to applications. So it's compatible with Workspaces, Amazon WorkDocs, Amazon QuickSight, and Amazon Workmail. You can also sign in to the AWS Management Console with Simple AD user accounts to manage AWS resources. Simple AD does not support multi-factor authentication, trust relationships, DNS dynamic update, schema extensions, communication over LDAP-S, PowerShell AD's commandlets, and FSMO rule transfer. It is not compatible with the RDS SQL Server. Customers requiring these features should use AWS Managed Microsoft AD instead. You can use Simple AD as a standalone directory in the cloud to support Windows workloads that need basic Active Directory features, compatible AWS applications, or to support Linux workloads that need LDAP service. Okay, so this was all about Simple AD. So all three services. And let's see some use cases which are covered by AWS Directory Service. So it's mostly AWS Managed Microsoft AD, which is the main Active Directory Microsoft in the cloud, which is the actual AD on the cloud. So let's see all the use cases one by one. So first one is sign into AWS applications and services with Active Directory credentials. So you can enable multiple AWS applications and services such as AWS Client VPN, AWS Management Console, AWS IAM Identity Center, which is AWS Single Sign-On, Amazon Chime, Amazon Connect, Amazon FSx, Amazon QuickSight, Amazon RDS for SQL Server, WorkDocs, WorkMail, Workspaces to use your AWS Managed Microsoft AD directory. And when you enable an AWS application or service in your directory, your users can access the application or services with their Active Directory credentials. So we have IAM users and passwords, but when we enable this service and enable the access to the application or service, we will be using the AD credentials. Second use case is to manage Amazon EC2 instances. You can apply Active Directory Group Policy Objects, GPOs, to centrally manage your Amazon EC2 for Windows or Linux instances by joining your instances to your AWS Managed Microsoft AD domain. In addition, your users can sign in to your instances with their AD credentials. This eliminates the need to use individual instance credentials or distribute private key PEM files. This makes it easier for you to instantly grant or revoke access to users by using Active Directory user administration tools you already use. So this is similar to you use SSH using private key, public key you generate, probably using keygen or something. So if you enable this functionality, you can centrally manage them and they can log into the Linux or Windows EC2 instances using the this particular technology. Third use case is provide directory services to your Active Directory workloads. So Active Directory aware workloads. So you can run traditional Active Directory aware workloads such as Remote Desktop Licensing Manager and Microsoft SharePoint and Microsoft SQL Server always on in the AWS cloud. AWS Managed Microsoft AD also helps you to simplify and improve the security of Active Directory integrated .NET applications by using group managed service accounts and Kerberos constraint delegation KCD. Okay, fourth use case, AWS IAM Identity Center to Office 365 and other cloud applications integration. So you can use AWS Managed Microsoft AD to provide AWS IAM Identity Center, which is AWS IAM Identity Center is a AWS SSO for cloud applications. You can use Microsoft Entra Connect, which was formerly known as Azure Active Directory Connect, to synchronize your users into Microsoft Entra. Formerly it was known as Azure Active Directory, Azure AD, and then use Active Directory Federation Services, ADFS, so that your users can access Microsoft 365 and other SAML 2.0 cloud applications by using their Active Directory credentials. So basically, to access Office 365 and other cloud applications in the enterprises, in big enterprises, usually you will have something like Azure products like Entra Connect, Active Directory Connect or ADFS. But if you use AWS IAM Identity Center, which is like for big organizations who use AWS organizations, you can use enable single sign-on. And if you use this product IAM Identity Center, which is integrated with your Microsoft Managed AD, then you can synchronize the users first from the Azure AD to the AWS managed AD, and once that is done through IAM Identity Center, you can provide single sign-on functionality to Office 365 and other cloud applications. So this will be the two-step process. Use case number 5, you can extend your on-premises Active Directory to the AWS cloud, and you can use Active Directory Trust to connect AWS managed Microsoft AD to your existing Active Directory, and this means your users can access Active Directory aware and AWS applications with their on-premises Active Directory credentials without needing you to synchronize users, groups, or passwords. So this is slightly different. You have both Active Directory in on-prem and on the cloud, AWS managed, and they have their domain controllers. So what we do is we set up a trust. So once we set up a trust, we don't have to synchronize or create users in the AWS. On-prem users can directly access AWS applications or AD aware applications using their on-prem user ID and passwords, because there is a trust. There are two domain controllers, and they have a trust established, one on-prem and one on the cloud. And use case number 6, you can share your directory to seamlessly join Amazon EC2 instances to a domain across AWS accounts. So this is between multiple accounts, so you have to do it only once. So let's say you are in AWS account 1 and you have VPC 1, VPC 2. So in AWS account, and then you have another AWS account, and let's say it has its own VPC 3, VPC 4, and it has bunch of, let's say, EC2 Windows instances. Then sharing your directory across multiple AWS accounts enables you to manage AWS services such as Amazon EC2 easily without the need to operate a directory for each account and each VPC. So it has to be done only once, not for each and every VPC or accounts. You can use your directory from any AWS account and from any Amazon VPC within an AWS region. This capability makes it easier and more cost effective to manage directory aware workloads with a single directory across accounts and VPCs. You can now manage your Windows workloads deployed in EC2 instances across multiple accounts and VPC easily by using a single AWS managed Microsoft AD directory. So this, if you have a very big organization with multiple accounts and VPC and complicated network topology, you can do this. Only thing is, this has to be happen within a single region. So it's not multi or cross region, but it is cross account. And that's all. Thanks for watching.